imagine you are in a car traveling at the speed of light and you turn on your headlamps. What would you see? Would the light travel forward, backward, or not at all?
It's a good question, Wayne. I've been asked that a lot actually, and there are many layers of answers. The kind of boring answer, but unfortunately it's true, is that you can't travel at the speed of light if you have mass. Right? So that's just the truth of it. So it's not possible. However, we could go a bit deeper and say some more interesting things. So Einstein's theory of relativity is a theory of space-time. So we often refer to as the fabric of the universe. And it has a structure, it has a geometry. And built into the theory is the idea that there is a speed which is always seen to be the same for any observer, which is a really weird thing. This was the clue actually to Einstein that relativity was necessary. It was a strong suggestion from the laws of electricity and magnetism back in the 1860s that light travelled at a constant speed for all observers. So really, we're saying that if I ran towards the camera now with a torch and turned it on, and I ran towards the camera at 99% speed of light and shone the torch, then it would pass the camera. From the camera's point of view, you'd sit there and you'd see the light fly past at the speed of light. It's just a speed on which everyone agrees. When you build that, when you build a theory around that idea, it turns out that this speed becomes a limiting speed that you can't travel beyond. And it turns out that the speed is the speed that all things with no mass have to travel at, and all things with mass have to travel slower than. And also, it turns out, interestingly, that if you draw a line, so let's draw a line, a path over space-time, which is the path of a beam of light. So let's watch a beam of light go along the path, which would be your car if you're able to travel at the speed of light, as I said, but you can't. But if you could, you draw the path. And for something going along that path, if you had a watch and you looked at it, no time would tick. So quite literally, there's no time for a photon from its point of view traveling through the universe, traveling over space-time at the speed of light. So all those things are really interesting, and they're part of ultimately the geometry of space-time and built into the theory. And the theory is consistent and works and does make predictions that we've tested. I mean, E equals mc squared, for example, which is the foundation of our understanding of the stars, but also nuclear reactors and so on. So all that stuff is built into this theory, which tells you that if your car cannot go at the speed of light. So it's a big edifice, Einstein's theory, a beautiful self-consistent edifice which has those rules in it.
Do you still play or even write music? Do you have any influence on the music in your TV programs?
Well, Pedro, yes, I play all the time. I mean, I suppose everybody who's listening is a musician or has ever learnt to play an instrument. I think it never leaves you, and so I sit down and play piano now mainly, and a bit of keyboards. Okay, I make a few 1980s style noises on my synths that I've got. I've still got actually a Roland JX10, which is the synth that I used most of the time in the late 80s, and it still works apart from the odd key here and there. But you can, I can navigate around that. So yes, I still play. The music in my series, it depends. If we use song, so often we use a song, particularly at the end of some of the films, then yes, I have a lot of influence in that. Many of those are my choices. And my favorite actually was way back in Wonders of the Solar System that we did sort of 10, 11 years ago now, when at the end of the final episode of Wonders of the Solar System, we used the Carpenters calling occupants of interplanetary craft, which is to me a bold move in a science documentary, and I think I think it works, and I still love it to this day. So those songs that appear quite often at the ends of the films, I do pretty much choose or have a big say in. But the music itself in the universe, the last series, it was composed by some great composers, all working with Hans Zimmer and his outfit is called Bleeding Fingers, and they're a fantastic set of composers, and so they take it away and they craft the music, and actually in the universe there are so many little Easter eggs in the film and in the music. That's all little sort of themes and echoes and samples, and it's really interesting actually, the soundtrack. So if you want to listen and try and dig deeply and hear some interesting little hidden things, then listen to the music in the universe. Professor Brian Cox, Horizons, a 21st century space odyssey, live on stage. Using state-of-the-art LED screen technology, theatres and arenas will be filled with images of faraway galaxies, alien worlds, supermassive black holes, and a time before the Big Bang.